Hi, this is Tom from XForcePC, and what we're going to talk about today is providing a little more realism for your flight simulation experience. One of the things that you can do rather than just sort of flying around in the sky and tooling around is to actually create a flight plan to take you from one airport to another, as you might do in the real world with real world flying. And even if you're only doing VFR type flying, a flight plan is always good to help you with your navigation. As you know, the rules of flying are aviate, navigate, communicate, and you've certainly learned to aviate and how to fly your plane, but now you want to learn to navigate. Well, one of the things you can do in putting in a flight plan is to use your Garmin 430, your 530, or your 1000 or whatever, but sometimes those devices are really challenging, especially if you haven't spent a whole lot of time with them and really studied the manual or watched videos and so forth. And there is an easier way to do flight planning for the flight simulator, and that's what we're going to talk about today. There are basically two apps that you can get for your iPad, and in fact one of the apps even goes beyond the iPad, but we'll just talk about the iPad at the moment. So these two apps are basically FltPlanGo, which comes from a company called FltPlan.com, FltPlan.com, and the other one is Foreflight, that comes from a company that is at Foreflight.com. And we're going to describe both of those apps today and how they work and what benefit they would be to you as you try to plan out your flights. And you'll see right here behind me, I've got basically the on the left here is Foreflight in this iPad on the left here, and then on the right is FltPlanGo, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit on that for you so you can kind of see it just a little better. And we'll get a closer up view of those in just a few moments. So Michael and I are going to discuss this for you and talk about some of the benefits and some of the drawbacks of each to give you a good idea how to use this sort of device and this sort of app with your simulation. And one of the most important things to realize is that both of these apps will communicate directly with X-Plane, and you can see X-Plane right here behind me on the screen. And so they can track your position in the real X-Plane world as you fly along, including your position on the airport tarmac and as you go from taxiway to runway and so forth. So we'll be back to you in just a second to discuss both of these apps. Okay, here we've got a close-up of the two apps side by side. On the left-hand side here you'll see Foreflight, and on the right-hand side you will see FltPlanGo. And right now they're basically tracking a plane as it goes across the Columbia Metropolitan Airport. And if we kind of zoom in just a little bit, just so you can see a little better here, you might be able to see the image of the plane as it goes across. Now this is an X-Plane. X-Plane is guiding this plane, and it's basically telling it where to go in the airport. Now on the AI flies the airplane. Of course, sometimes that's a little bit erratic, it moves around, but you can see generally speaking how it tracks the plane, and this is exactly what it would do if you were flying the plane. So you could see yourself going through the airport and which taxiways to go into. On the right screen where FltPlanGo is, it's doing this against the airport diagram that's available through that. On the left one, you can see that it's going against more like a map. But for Foreflight, you can also see that it tells you when you're approaching and entering a runway. And it will also, you can also get Foreflight to display itself on the airport diagram that you can download. However, that's at an extra cost, and we'll speak a little bit about the price of these two products a little bit later in the video. All right, so here's Michael, and we're going to be talking about these two apps today. This talk is obviously for simmers, but real-world pilots also can benefit from some of the features of the apps and how they work with X-Plane. With each of them, you can enter either a simple or a complex flight plan, and that will show up on the moving map. And if you kind of look behind here, we've got the moving map on both of these things going along, and they're following the same plane in X-Plane. There are some differences between the two apps, though, and that's really important, I think, to get that out of the way. The first difference is that Foreflight costs money and FltPlanGo is free. And FltPlanGo obviously has some higher level services, but at the level for a simmer, they don't charge anything like that. With Foreflight, the basic is $100 a year. And then you can go to the Plus, which adds in your ability to watch yourself going on a moving airport diagram. And then the Performance Plus has all sorts of things like synthetic vision, where you can actually see the terrain ahead of you, and you get various warnings in a red, yellow, and green format to let you know if you're going to fly into the side of a mountain. And so there's lots of functionality in both of these apps. I would say that just Foreflight probably has the edge on functionality, but you do have to pay a good bit of money for that. There are some differences. One of the things is that if you're entering a flight plan in Foreflight, you just simply put it in there, and you can say Columbia to Augusta, boom, you're done. If you add in a flight plan into FltPlanGo, you actually have to go to their website and enter a proper flight plan form. And then once you do that and you save it in your account, then it'll pick it up on the app for you. Of course, they both have GPS features where they know exactly where you are in the real world for real world flying. So you have moving maps, you've got proper flight plans, both store and display aeronautical charts and documents such as approach plates and airport diagrams and the like. And really, functionality wise, they do quite well.
So Tom, there's a couple of scenarios I wanted to ask you about. The first one is, let's say you're a flight simmer only. You never intend to get into the real airplane. You just want to, get on your flight sim and pretend you're a pilot and, have fun. Which one would you recommend for that? Or what are the pluses and minuses if you're that type of simmer?
I would say definitely FltPlanGo. It has everything that you'll need as a simmer, and it's free. And I think that's the bottom line with that, but it really does a great job of giving you the sort of navigation capabilities and filing a flight plan. And in fact, the way it tells you to enter the flight plan through the website is actually a good discipline to do that. Even if you're a simmer, it shows you what's really needed.
And then what if you're simming, but you also get up in the real plane? And let's say you're just VFR right now, though, and you're not really trying to get your instrument rating. You're just a VFR pilot.
Well, for VFR pilots, it's very good because it tells you exactly where you are in the real world. It gives you all sorts of information about your altitude and so forth. So, and both of them are like that. But I have a number of friends, one of them who is a light sport pilot, and he uses Foreflight all the time. He does not mind at all paying the price for that because he thinks it has really helped him a great deal. So yeah, I mean, it's up to the pilot to know what they prefer. And of course, we can't offer any advice for real world pilots, but it does I think it's something they should consider as to whether Foreflight can do the job for them. And of course, Foreflight does have a 30-day free trial where you have all the capabilities for 30 days. Yeah. And you can see all that. And I think that includes even the Performance Plus feature, which is the $300 a month, because Foreflight is basic is 100.
Or a year, 300
A year, not a month. Basic is $100 a year, plus is $200 a year, and performance is $300 a year.
Yeah, I mean, for me, if I were using it, I think I'd probably spend the 300. I mean, you consider what you're spending on fuel and the plane and all
True,
that.
true.
You know, the $300 option gives you all the bells and whistles. It gives you, you know, synthetic vision. You can see if you're going to fly into some large object. So I think it's, and even that even works if there's zero visibility out the front of the airplane. You can look down at that iPad and you can see the major geographic features right there in the synthetic vision. So I think if I were flying, you know, it's my life. I think it's worth $300.
Oh, yeah.
But you know, if you're just simming, it sounds like FltPlanGo though is kind of the way to go. And you can always try the you know, do the 30-day trial. And as I was talking to Tom earlier, if you're someone that sims and flies in a real plane, make sure you start that trial in a period in which you'll be in both places, because it's sort of a different experience. I mean, the interface obviously is the same, but it's a whole lot different when you're up in the air versus you can hit the pause button on your keyboard. So make sure you plan your evaluation period so that you're in both situations. You can try it out.
Okay, well, that's a review of both of these very useful apps, and I hope it's been helpful to you. If you like this video, please like us on YouTube, subscribe to our channel, and press the little blue bell so you will receive notifications of all future videos.